Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar about automatic document separation. My name is Pierrick Delez, and I'm joined today by two experts in data capture and in document separation, Henning and Christophe. But before I hand the floor to those two specialists, I will do some housekeeping. This webinar is being recorded, so you will be able to replay the whole session tonight and the days after, and you will find the replay and the recording on irisdatacapture.com. You will also be able to download actually the presentation, so the PowerPoint that Henning will be presenting, so no need to take any screenshots. This is meant to be an interactive session, at least as interactive as possible, because we don't hear you, we cannot hear you, but you can ask your questions via the questions tab on the right-hand side of your screen. If some questions are kind of urgent or make sense during the presentation, I will interrupt my two colleagues to ask them, and for the other questions, we will keep them for the Q&A session in the end of the session. There will be also some polls, so I will publish a few polls during the webinar. Please don't hesitate to answer those polls that help us to kind of have an interactive debate and maybe have different thinking and explanations about the topics. And with that, yeah, the session is 45 minutes, supposed to be around 45 minutes, let's see. Yeah, I see that we have more than 100 people with us today from many countries, from the Americas, from Europe, from Asia, so welcome to everyone again. And Henning, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Pierrick. Thank you all for joining. I hope you're having already a kick-ass week. We are trying to make it even better. For those who aren't familiar with the IRIS product and technologies, just to give you a brief insight at the beginning, our mission is that we develop solutions and services to capture data, automate processes, manage content, transform unstructured data into ready-to-use, easy-to-archive, and easy-to-share information. Along that mission, a few facts and numbers. We are founded more than 30 years ago. IRIS product and technologies are more than 140 people with more than 50 developers. And as you can see from our profitability, we are able to invest, and we are still on our mission, keep on innovating along our vision all over the global, the European Union, Europe at all, US, Asia and Pacific region. Our expertise along our mission is all around information management. So you can see it on the right-hand side, starting from scanning, including OCR, classification, data extraction. You can read them all. And around all these information management techniques, these technologies we invent are developed and maintained 100% under our own intellectual property. And along all you partners, we still want to highlight a few. You're in company with a few big ones like Canon, like Adobe, like HP, like Evernote, all these using IRIS technology to enhance their information management. But from that general perspective, back to the main content of this webinar, to document separation, document extraction, document classification. Just at a glance, the general steps in extracting data and classifying documents are usually these 4 steps you see here. It's collecting the data, via scanning paper or fetching electronic documents. It's then in the second step classifying them, probably doing some data extraction, and then export the needed data to the system of your customers' needs, of your needs. But if you step back a little bit, in between step 1 and 2, there is something happening where we never put much highlight on in the last years. It's separating these documents. So you have a constant stream of images coming from the scanner, coming from an electronic device somewhere, and these constant stream needs to be separated into documents. So a classification and extraction solution can then focus on these single documents, sometimes one page, sometimes a few pages. But this step is more often not considered as a single step, but is very important. And we have now the ability to automate this step as well, to have a fifth step in here after step 1, like separating the documents. I know we have all been separating documents in the past, and document separation as we know it always went with sorting separator sheets into the batch of paper before scanning it, separator sheets for the beginning of a document, separator sheets for attachments, or most common, you place barcodes on the first page of a document and on the first page of an attachment. So that's document separation as we know it from the past, and most usual from the present as well. Document separation in the modern way is an automatic separation within Iris Extract with the new version 2.1 of the process add-on document separation. In abbreviation, it's PATS. And as you can imagine, version 2.1, we have already made our homework in the past. On version 1, we even enabled more things to have a rule-based separation of documents for each customer expectation. You might know it when you have worked with it. It's more or less ready to run with invoices, but with these ability to enhance the rule set, you're even enabled to go beyond invoice projects to separate them automatically within Iris Extract. As I already said, it's a processing of a constant stream of pages, so no need to separate them. When you scan them, you just put the batch of paper into your scanner, hit the green button, and then let the magic happen. The separation process line comes before the extraction process line. Why do I mention it? I will get back to it later, but that is pretty important when you have a look at the return on invest. And to just give you an imagination how a return on invest could be calculated, you have to think of what you need in the actual way with separating with barcodes. I just used the barcode example here. You first need a barcode dispenser. If you go for a cheap one, that's 50 euros. If you go for barcodes, you need to print them or you need to buy them. If you buy them pretty cheap, it's about 1.5 euro cent per barcode label. You have labor costs with putting your barcodes onto the documents. And I made the assumption that you probably have 1.5 euro cent per second of labor, just as an average. Could be a little bit higher, could be a little bit lower. Maybe you have your own opinion on that. But I hope you're joining me. Putting a barcode label on a document at least takes 3 seconds if you're just separating documents. If you're additionally separating attachments, it might even take longer. So calculating that all together, each document costs at least 6 cents to separate with a barcode. When you take the labor costs in addition with the barcodes, just leaving away the buying of a barcode dispenser, and if you buy a not so cheap one, it might be more than 50 euros. Taking that into account and comparing it for a, let's call it bread and butter project with example given 60,000 pages, you at least have 40,000 documents in there. And if you have 40,000 barcodes, calculating that, that's at least 2,400 euros. If you then look into our price list, the add-on for document separation, for automatic document separation, for 60,000 pages is even in the first year when you buy the software far below these 2,400 euros. It's just 1,010. And the higher the numbers are getting, the better your return on invest will get. Moreover, there is an additional thing that you have to keep in mind, because when you use these process add-on automatic document separation, the separation is done before the solution package accounts payable, the classification solution package, or each other solution package is analyzing the documents. And if you have attachments within your documents, these attachments are separated before the analyze process of the solution packages start. So the page count in the solution package later on will be probably lower when you use these process add-on, because the analyze process in the solution packages is no longer looking at the attachment pages for separation. In the past, there was a look on each and every document if there is a barcode for the start of a new document, for the start of a new attachment. And as the analyzer looked on these documents are for sure counted from the solution package license. So this will even give you a far quicker return on invest than just calculated here in this example. We were taking the labor costs and the costs for a barcode into account, and think of the following years after the first year. You just have the maintenance for the customer to be paid, which is just 18% of these, here in this example, 1,000 euros. So your return on invest for the whole project will get bigger and bigger each and every year you use it. To prove this, I'm glad to have Christoph by my side, because as most of you know, I'm just a sales guy. I can explain a bit about the technique. I can make slides about the technique, but to give you more trust about that, what I've told you already, Christoph, as a product manager, is able to give you an insight how these automatic separation is working, and give you even more an insight in how easy it is to configure these automatic separation process add-on just with a live demo. So please, Christoph, join me on stage and help me a little bit out with a little deep dive into technology.
And Henning, maybe just before Christoph start the demo, a small feedback from the polls that I have published. 79% of the people who answered the poll agree with you on the calculations you made. So this is positive. We have a few people who don't. So I would propose after the webinar to contact those people and to have a discussion with them. And with regards to the way our audience are separating documents, 2 people already used the automatic document separation in their projects, and the rest of the people who answered the call mainly did barcode separation. Second is separator sheet, and 7% do manual separation.
Which is interesting to know.
Yeah, indeed. So we will do a follow-up on those polls as well. Thank you, Christophe. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Pierrick. Thank you, Henning. And also welcome from my side to everyone. I will try to give you a more detailed insight of how the separation is indeed working and what are the possibilities included in the package. And yeah, to do so, I will just take a small example batch to show you how to indeed set up a very simple separation project. And going through this procedure, we will see some of the possibilities that are in and how to configure them. So I prepared this very small batch in a real-life project. Of course, it would be a good idea to collect a bigger number of example documents to make a proper configuration in the beginning. The sample project of the PATS package does come with a predefined configuration for invoice processing, but normally this is not sufficient for real-life projects. It's just created to work with the example batch that we also deliver with the package. So normally it's always required to do at least a bit of configuration in the beginning of such a project so that the automatic separation can then run in the end in your project. So we have here, for the example, we are facing the situation. We expect some different types of documents in a mailroom project, and we want to automatically separate them. So for example, we have here some delivery note, which is built up of 2 pages. Then afterwards, we have some employment agreement that has 3 pages here. And then we have some invoice having 2 pages and some attachment of 2 pages. And then we have here another delivery note that is just 1 page. And at the end, we have some purchase order with just 1 additional page. So this is our example batch. This is a collection of the documents that we expect in the project. And now we want to be able to automatically separate these. And yeah, we start with the sample PETS project that comes with the package. I've opened it in the solution designer. That's what we see here. I already loaded the demo batch to the project to save some time, because in the background it would be required to create the free text so that we can later test things in the solution designer. And I did prepare this already. So we start with some generic setup of the project. This is just the same as you might know from other solution packages like SPAP or SP orders. We have a list of parameters available in the project, which can be used to fine-tune things or to set up how things work. But that's just a small part here for the separation. The main thing first to set is which is the follow-up application where the separated documents should be routed to. So in our case, we are not doing an invoice project. So this will be some kind of mailroom project. And I now assume that my follow-up application has the name mailroom. So I set this parameter here that the separated documents will be correctly routed in the end. Then another interesting parameter for separation. Normally, when the configuration is done, the process is indeed completely automatic. You don't need to have any manual step in between anymore, but we provide the possibility, for example, for a beginning phase of a project, or to do some initial testing, or maybe in very complicated situations, to also use the manual step in between the automatic separation and the extraction or classification process, so that it's possible to use our verify client to double check the result of the automatic separation, and yeah, to have the chance in this verify client to correct things, or yeah, to do some manual separation. But normally this parameter will of course be just empty, so that there is no manual step in between. There are a lot of other parameters. Most of them are just used for some kind of backwards compatibility. Even with the PETS project, it's still possible to configure things in a classic way. So to search for barcodes on the pages, or using separator sheets for the separation and attachment detection. So most of the parameters here are just around this stuff. We are now concentrating on the automatic part, and for that we only have this find attachment using the platform functionality parameter, and the detect the start of a new document using platform functionality. So normally these 4 parameters are the most interesting for the generic basic configuration of such a project. But now we have to concentrate on how to do the separation in the end. For that, we have some specific areas here in Solution Designer in the PATS project, with separation rules and an area to check our settings. I will first show this separation rules part. So, yeah, to understand what is going on here, what is the general process behind the automatic document separation? Our approach is that we just go through the pages, and for each page, we try to find out, is this a new first page of a document, or is this a second, third page, whatever follow-up page that belongs still to the same document. We do this by running the page through different checks that we support here in the package. And these different checks can be arranged freely. So we start here with our example decision tree, which just sends the pages through a lot of decision trees, one after each other. If one of the checks says, okay, we have some result here on the check, we end up in one of these result nodes, which then says, okay, we start a new document, or maybe we continue the current document, or we can even skip pages completely, for example, for empty pages. This tree is completely flexible. You can move around things here. You can move around the connections between the different nodes. So this is all completely flexible. You can build up a decision tree exactly to the needs of your project very easily. If you think you just need a few of the presented check types, then you just remove the other ones, or you add some more complex logic behind all this. That's completely configurable, so you are free to have a lot of possibilities here. The main checks that we provide here are based on searches on the free text of the page. So we have an OCR result, and we use some searches to test some criteria that give us a hint that some page that we are looking at is indeed a first page of a document, or it's not a first page on a document. And yeah, so most of these checks are connected to search configurations in the project. For example, like this one here. So you have the complete possibility and power of the very flexible search configurations behind all this. In most cases, it will be sufficient to just leave the existing searches as they are pre-configured. But in some cases, if it's required, you have the possibility to change everything in the search configuration to match the needs of your specific project. Most of the searches are also connected to master data files. So, for example, we have one thing that is quite sure to tell us, okay, this is a hint for some new document, which is document numbers. So, for example, invoices or orders normally have some ID printed on them. And this document number is, of course, an indicator. As long as the document number is the same on each page, we are still in the same document. As soon as the document number changes, we will start a new document. And our search for document numbers uses a combination of keywords and regular expression searches. And the keywords to find are one example for these master data files. So you can see here our pre-configured list of keywords for invoice numbers. And we have some other master data files for other things that we can use as criteria for selecting first pages in our page stream. So now we take a closer look to our example batch, and we want to be able to automatically separate it in the end. And for that, we use our benchmark environment that is built in. First step is to just go through through all the pages and tell the system as a reference which of the pages do we expect to be first pages. So I will quickly do this. Of course, the first page will be something that page belongs to the other one. Here the new document starts. This one had 3 pages. So here is the next one. And this invoice was 2 pages. Here is the attachment. So the attachment detection in general, and especially in terms of this benchmark environment, is built up in a way that we first say, okay, we use the same kind of criteria to say this is a first page of a new document, but we add some additional information to the test in this case that later tells us that this is not really a new document, but an attachment to the previous document. So for our expectation, this is indeed also a new document. This second page is still part of the attachment, but I will also mark it here as expected as a new page. We will see later why I do this. That's some kind of trick that can help with finding attachment pages. As all attachments are attached to the previous document, it's sometimes a good idea to configure the project in a way that each of the attachment pages is detect it as a first page of an attachment instead of trying to keep the attachment together. But yeah, we will see this later. So then the last 2 pages are also separate documents, so we would expect them to be separated. So now we just run a first benchmark to see how the things are already going. And we see that a lot of pages are already found correctly. And yeah, so we just have to concentrate on mainly the ones that are not already found. But in this case, I will go through some of the other pages too, to give you a better idea of what kind of possibilities there are and how to configure them. So we take a look here at the first part. I think I did a small mistake here in the preparation. I did not reset everything correctly. Normally, for this pages, no ID would have been found. But as a delivery node, we do have some ID written on it, which can be used. And yeah, we can see that the keyword for that number would be deliv.no. So this would be a good candidate to add to our master data file of the doc number search that we have. So I will just quickly do this. It was already working because I did not reset everything, as I said. So when we now have it here, then this would do the trick to have these IDs found automatically. So we can see it's still the same. And we can see here in the decision area that the second page has the same doc ID as the first page, so they belong together, and we don't start a new document on this page. So next page would be the start of our employment agreement. On this part, we do not have any ID or thing like that. So we have to use some other criterion on that part. And for this one, we will use first page phrases. So some kind of text block that we know that will only appear on first pages of documents. In our example, it will be just the page 1 part down below here at the end of the page. This is already pre-configured in the list of so-called page 1 phrases in the master data. So this page is already correctly found. The next pages of this document are currently interpreted as new first pages because none of the criteria of our decision tree is matching. Nothing is found on these. And now we have to find a way to tell the system, okay, these are part of the other document. And with the new version 2 of PATS, we have a very good possibility to do that, because we are now also able to not only say we are searching for first page indicators, but we can also say we search for indicators on the page that tell us that this page is a follow-up page. For example, we can again use this page information down here. You will normally not find a phrase like page 2 on a first page. So this is a good indicator for follow-up page. So I will just quickly go to our follow-up phrase master data file, and I will add here the phrases, so page 2 and page 3. Just recompile the master data. That's very important. And now when we go back to our benchmark, we will see that these pages are now part of the second document. So this invoice, the package is already prepared for handling invoices and normally using the invoice number. And we can see here that the invoice number is already found on both pages. And so this is one document. Now we are coming to our attachment. For this one, we will also use page one phrases, because this is an easy way to tell the system that something is a first attachment page. We do this by adding some more page one phrases. In this case, I just choose some text that is on the document. And when we add this part and now we are giving the system the additional information that this is an indicator for an attachment by putting this attachment keyword here to this entry. And then doing the benchmark again, we will see that those two pages are found as the start of a new document, but we have this result of attachment here that will later in the analyze show that that this is part of the previous attachment, a document, not attachment. So these will be sorted to the invoice in the end result. So the last two are already correctly separated, because I think there are also these page one phrases on there, so we don't have to look further. That would be the normal way to go into a configuration of a separation project. So just looking at the pages, finding things that indicate, okay, this is a first page, this might not be a first page, and to use different things and the different criteria that we support to do the decision. Maybe I give a quick overview over the other possibilities that we also have here. So we had finding of initial phrases, that would be page one phrases. We have follow-up phrases. We have document IDs. Then we also have the possibility to search for barcodes. We have a check for empty pages. We also can use the extract fingerprint concept that just checks how similar two pages are. That is also something we can use as a check. We also have a search for final phrases that would indicate this is the last page. And then we remember this information for the procedure in the for the processing of the next page. And in the next page, we have still the information, oh, the last page, the previous page was a last page. So we have to start a new document here. And it's even possible to use some kind of training for fingerprints for first pages and for first pages of attachments. That will include the verify client. I will not go too much into detail. I will just mention that it's there. And I think I'm already getting a bit too long. Finally, I will just now save this configuration and deploy it to my BOM system. And then I will import the example batch and show you the result, how it will come out in a real project environment. So this is my example batch here. When I import this, It will soon appear here in my document list. So there it is, and now we can take a look how Analyze is working on it. At first, we have just this one document with all the pages. And now Analyze is doing the OCR on all the pages and then doing all the checks for the pages in the background. And in a few seconds, we will see that Analyze will split up this document in our expected 5 or 6 documents. I think 5 documents, one with the attachment, yeah.
While the system is processing, Christoph, we have a question here from Stefan, and maybe Henning or yourself, you can answer the question. Stefan from Germany is asking whether a decision can be based on a simple regular expression like a license plate. And if a regular expression is used to separate, then it separates every time there is a new like the license plate example is giving is KXA 1000. That would be one license plate. Yeah. Then when the next document is KXB 2000, then it would separate. So can it be based on a regular expression?
Yeah, so that would mainly be an approach where we use some kind of document ID search. So this license plate is indeed some kind of an ID, so we can use this search. Maybe this license plate information is indeed also combined with some specific keywords that makes it easier to find it. But in general, it would also be possible to replace this key value search with just a regular expression search. So at the moment, the value search part is indeed just a regular expression.
Yeah, so that was the question indeed. Yeah. So if that works, this is fine.
So that should work out. So, and we can now see here the analysis has finished, and we end up with 5 documents. So the first one, our 2-page delivery note, then our 3-page employment agreement. Then we have our invoice with the 2 attachment pages and the 2 single-page documents in the end. So you can see it's really not that complicated to get a working separation configuration for your everyday projects. And I think now we can switch back to Henning, or we have some more questions.
Yeah, we'll see the questions later. Thank you, Christoph.
Thank you, Christoph. You totally nailed it, and I guess, yes, as Pierrick said, the other technical questions, we will get back to you and we'll answer them after this webinar. So I guess that was a deep insight in how easy it is to configure this process add-on, and that it makes sense to use this within Iris Extract. But I just want to sum up the benefits, and I have one last benefit for those who just stayed with us until the end. At first, the benefit of this automatic document separation is the reduction of manual labor. No longer placing any barcode as a document separator or on attachments. So just putting in the big batch into the scanner, hitting the green button, no sorting in and out of separator sheets. All that manual labor is totally gone. You, in addition, can process more documents in your solution package for the same cost. so your solution package has a reduction of page consumption, which results into a pretty quick return on invest in extraction and classification projects, and makes the return on invest of the whole project even higher than it was already before, paying back what your customers have already invested into that solution. And to give you an additional benefit, to use this, to try it out and to sell it in customer environments, there are, for the next 3 PETS projects that are ordered at IRIS in 2020, €100 Amazon voucher for each of that. Please contact your local sales rep. Please make sure that the orders are coming in quickly, because you all know we have December, and as usual in December, the orders are just hammering in. So place the order, contact your local sales rep. Probably it's me, probably it's one or the other around me, and you will receive that €100 Amazon voucher sent to the address you submit to us. I guess if there is anything else, you can always contact us. You can contact your local contact. You can follow up with the recording or the presentation. And with that, I want to thank you that you stayed with us, that you gave us a little bit of your time to enhance your day and make this one of your solutions that you could sell. And with that, Pierrick, I guess we are pretty close in time.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we are running out of time, clearly. But let me take just one question before we close. Chris asking, can we add pads, so the add-on, to an existing project? And will it be considered for the Amazon voucher incentive?
Yeah, well, could be easy to answer. It's a total yes for both questions. And as we are right now reaching Christmas time, we will even give away these Amazon voucher if you sell these pets on a slightly discounted way, which is already agreed with your BDM. So it could be added. And if you place the order, if you are one of the 3 next PETS projects ordering in 2020, you will receive the Amazon voucher.
Very good. If you can go to the last slide, just for me to actually thank everyone and remind everyone that you can go to irisdatacapture.com to replay the webinar. We have many questions, so that means that the webinar seems to have interested people who attended. We will get back to you personally after this webinar. Don't worry, those questions will be answered. Thank you all for attending the webinar. I would like to thank Christophe and Henning for the preparation and all these insights about automatic document separation. And I would like to thank you all for your attendance and wish you a good holiday season, good end of year season. Thank you all, and see you soon. Bye-bye.